What's up, guys? This is Joe, OU Flat off the KLV forums. Just going to do my first video here on this new multi-Miss Pac-Man cabinet that I've put together. It's an arcade SD based around, which is one thing that I really like. Go through doing a control panel overlay install today. And just to walk through that real quick, we got our control panel over here, getting ready to put the CPO on, and we'll just walk through the steps on how to do that. Went ahead and I had it all put together to just test out, get all the wiring done. So pulled off all the buttons and trackball and joystick, and we've got that over here. It's still all wired up. Just unhooked everything and moved it away so we can put the CPO on. And why don't we get to it? Alright. The CPO, using the 3-button trackball joystick and 1-2 player start buttons. Came from This Whole Game. Rich over at This Whole Game did it. It's excellent work, as always. And just to walk through how I do these, lay it out. First off, take some rubbing alcohol and a paper towel, wipe it down real good to get all the oils from your fingerprints off, so that this overlay sticks and it doesn't peel back up on you later. Just make sure you get good adhesion. Then mask it down, and then for alignment, since this one's not cut out already, we need to go through and had 2 options. We can cut out the circles. Not very good at freehanding like that, so I'm going to use the actual control panel as my guide to cut out the holes. So to line this up, the easiest way to do it that I found is to take a bright flashlight. In this case, I'll just use my phone. Flashlight on. And then when we got it about where we think, just come underneath with the flashlight and you can see where the buttons are going to line up in the trackball. And once you got it where you want, tape it down so it won't move. It all looks good. So I taped it down. I'm going to start at this end and work my way back. That way, if I do come across an error, I'm going to start with a small piece. I can peel that back up and get it back down. A lot less stress that way. Alright, so let's get the backer off here. Actually, before I get too far, I'm going to get my little squeegee so I can line that up just right. Alright, here we go. Got the squeegee so we can apply it evenly instead of just trying to push it down with our fingers, possibly getting some air bubbles in there. Alright, so we'll go back and peel the backer off here. And you'll have to excuse me too, because this is my first video that I'm doing, so hopefully they'll get better and be more enjoyable. Come on, it's being stubborn tonight. Alright, there we go. So I'm going to peel back about 2 inches here. And then we'll cut this. Alright, so we've got the backer cut away. So I'm only going to apply about 2 inches down on the panel to start. We're just going to take the squeegee and nice and smoothly work out any bubbles, which you shouldn't get. Now once we got that down, the panel is going to be locked in place. So I'm going to go ahead and take off all this tape, because it's not going to go anywhere now. And we'll check the alignment before we go further. Alright. Get the flashlight one more time. And we'll see how we're looking. Alright, that looks good. Everything looks like it's lining up. Last one. Alright, so I'm happy with the alignment now. If I wasn't at this point, I could pull it back up if needed, because we've only got this much stuck down, so it's not a big deal. If we need to make a correction, we can do it now. But since all looks good, now we'll roll it back this way and peel that backer back. And I'm doing this just like I do the full side art installation. Just the same way. So now we're going to use the squeegee, go just a little bit at a time. And roll the backer back up under. And it'll help keep the artwork from sticking too far ahead of where you want to be. So just nice and smoothly pull the backer as we work our way across. Making sure we don't get any bubbles or wrinkles or anything like that. The whole key is to go slow. If you try to pull off the back all at once, that's when you run into situations where you get stuck down wrong, and then you start to have a heart attack because things aren't going well and you're really stressing out about it, and you got lots and lots of bubbles that you got to work out. This way should go down right the first time and every time. Like I said, this is the same way to apply the side art on the cabinet, just on a smaller scale, doing the exact same method. Wouldn't want to pull off the full back on a full sheet of side art all at once and try to throw it on there. So the same idea goes behind this. Alright. Alright, let's see how we did. Let me double check it one more time. Alright, looks like everything's lined up. So now we'll take our X-Acto knife and we're just going to go around the holes and cut it out. Try not to cut into the metal, the powder coat. So just go nice and smooth, slow, and you can always make the hole bigger. You don't have to do it full size on the first time. The buttonholes you don't have to worry about so much if you scratch up the powder coat underneath. with your knife because that's going to be covered up by the buttons. But with the trackball, you want to try to make that seam as nice and smooth as possible, and don't, you know, not tear up that powder coat that's under it. Because with the X-Acto knife you can basically shave that off. So I just start in the middle of the button and then work my way out to the edge. So there we go. Control panel overlay installed. Let's see how it works, how it worked out. We'll go ahead and put the buttons in first. I got these illuminated buttons for this install. Trying them out, they're okay, something different. I don't know that I'm the biggest fan of the light up buttons. A little bit too bright, I think, for my liking, but they're alright. Something different. So on these, to install these, it's a little different than the standard button. You got the top of the button half through, and then you got this spacer. Put that on the back side, and then our nut here. And just put them down finger tight for right now, and we'll come back with the wrench and get them a little bit more snug. Doesn't take much. See how that looks. Pretty good. Get them nice and centered up with the overlay, and then finger tight on where I've got this little push button wrench that works fairly decent. If you get one stuck or whatnot, well, just throwing stuff all over the place, so it just goes on, and then you can finger tighten it with that. But let's get it lined up here, and we'll give it just a little turn. I'm probably going to have to come back and straighten these up with the wiring harness, figure out which way it wants to go. Actually, we'll do that before we get them all bring our harness over here and see which way all the buttons need to be facing. These LED push buttons, this is the LED portion here, if you can see that. The LED portion here, and it goes right inside there, and then you twist it to lock it down. So I just want to make sure that I've got them lined up still the way that I took them out. You see how I've got this one turned this way and this one going this way. So that's what I'm talking about. Make sure that I have the tabs facing the right way. So when I put them back in, they'll match up with my harness. Alright, so we went ahead and got all the buttons, screws, trackballs on here. Everything's all button backed up, and it looks good. Well, I've got the control panel off the game. Let's go ahead and go over the wiring that we did here. Now this is all custom wiring. It's all done specifically for this control panel. So there's no like big wire bundles wrapped up under there, anything like that. It's specifically for this installation. So we've got our joystick here, 2 wires for each direction on that, trackball, and then the LED buttons. Now to wire up the LED buttons, here's what we have to do. You've got the normal cherry switch with your ground on the top, and then the input signal going to the normally open tab, and the normally closed tab is blank on the end. So use the topmost tab for your ground, and then the one right next to it for your line to the PCB. And then we've also got these 2 wires going to the LED actual portion of the button, which gives us ground on one side, and then I've got 12 volts power going to the other side. And you'll notice, if you can follow this, the ground to the LED buttons, we've got a loop. So we just go from this button to this button up to the trackball, then each of the other illuminated buttons in series. Same with the grounding for the actual cherry switches. We come in, hit all the buttons, the trackball, continue around here, all the buttons, and then all the switches on the joystick, and then back out. That way, the continual loop, so we start at the connector, go around the whole control panel, and then back to the connector. That way, if a ground breaks or comes loose over here on this end of the control panel, instead of thinking about the circuit flowing this way, it can also flow back this way and hit everything. So instead of one point possibly taking out the whole set, if you get a break here, it's still tied in the other direction and it'll come back. So it'll make pinpointing problems easier later. So that's the install for the control panel overlay and a quick overview on LED push buttons. And now we'll take this and let's put it in the game. Okay guys, so we got the control panel put on the machine. Got all the bezels and everything's all straightened out, so this game is good to go now. Thanks for watching my video, and hopefully I'll be doing some more and putting some more stuff up. Not only build stuff and restores, but also stuff from our arcade, the Game Preserve in Houston. Start doing a walkthrough on that place and seeing what we can upload. But once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the forums.